learning that the state is now leaning toward taking the troubled facility over. The state raiding that shelter last week after a Kane in Your Corner investigation. And Walt Kane joins us now. Why this change from the state, Walt?
Well, Eric, New Jersey and the SPCA made it quite clear from the beginning that they really preferred to have elected officials in Helmetta fix their own shelter themselves. But now, after 5 days, sources tell me the state has lost confidence in borough leaders. It is now strongly leading toward a takeover instead. From the moment the SPCA finished its raid on the Helmetta Regional Animal Shelter Thursday, the state has been concerned about what one source calls the erratic behavior of borough officials. Thursday night, Mayor Nancy Martin fired the shelter's veterinarian, Alan DuBois, the man who'd blown the whistle on conditions inside the shelter for my Kane in Your Corner investigation.
I started to examine a dog, and a police officer came to me and said, "You're no longer working here, I have to leave the building." Within
hours, the Borough Council held an emergency meeting, overruled the mayor, and hired DuBois back, only to fire him again the very next day. Meantime, no one at the borough could seem to agree on what was happening. Friday night, Councilman Chris Slavacek and Councilwoman Yvette Bruno said the shelter's director, Michael Chellis, was being replaced. Mayor Martin insisted she was staying. That type of confusion, sources tell me, has some in the SPCA convinced Helmetta is incapable of fixing its shelter, and a state takeover, a process known as receivership, is the only viable option. Shelter opponents, keeping watch in freezing conditions, agree.
I would prefer the state to take it over at this point, because at least then there's some kind of accountability. Now you've got the mayor pulling strings one way, you've got the council trying to do something the other way, the mayor sending out memos, the council doesn't know about it. Forget it.
The final straw may have been this borough memo, saying any town with a shelter contract that needs a stray animal picked up should call Chellis's husband, Richard. While Chellis is an animal control officer, he was also the assistant shelter director. And like his wife, he's under investigation for animal cruelty. So the memo raised plenty of eyebrows. Now, the state has taken over animal shelters before. In fact, it just recently finished receivership of the Hunterdon Humane Animal Shelter in Hunterdon County, of course. Now, here is how that process works. The state takes a shelter over voluntarily or by court order, and then it runs the facility for a set amount of time. Once that time is up, the state can either give the shelter back to its existing original owner if it believes it can now run the facility properly, or it can recruit a new owner. It's usually a registered charity. Do you know something I need to investigate? Call me at 732-738-KANE or email kaneinyourcorner@news12.com or find me on Facebook at Kane in Your Corner.
A lot of emotion involved in this story. I'm sure you'll keep us updated as soon as you learn more information on this.
We'll let you know. Obviously, this is something that I'm being told the state is leaning toward. Obviously, no final decision, but we'll let you know.
All right, well, thanks.